everybody, welcome back. You guys keep watching them, so hey, I'm going to keep making them. Evidently something you guys like in these, which I'm not complaining. Today we will be reviewing the Epic Bait Molds 5.6 inch Preybait. Right off the bat, the outside of it, really nice thing they do. They just started doing this maybe a year ago, could have been a little longer, but they're telling you when you shoot which one is the back and the belly. They got nice engraving. They let you know which bait it is. It's got Marling's symbol since he actually collaborated on this. And then you also have more print on the back. While this is nice and all, the only thing that's really essential, I think, is this and this. If they were going to do any printing, I kind of wish they would do it here. But from my understanding, that causes a lot more machine time and would cause the price to go up. So, speaking of price, let's start with that as usual. This mold will run you. It's a single cavity. Hook slot delete. This mold will run you, as a single shot, $140. Definitely not cheap. If you go for the 3 cavity, it is $340, and that gets you 3 counts. Just to give you a little comparison, the Bass Tackle 6003 is that's a single shot also, single cavity. That's a 6-inch bait, a little bigger than this. Not anywhere near as detailed though, and that goes for $109. Another option would be the Angling AI 226D-3, which is their Bloodline, and that's a 6-inch bait, so it's a little bit bigger, and that's a 3 cavity, but that's $165. So, you know, $25 more gets you 3 cavities as opposed to this one single. But again, the detail is not going to be anywhere near what we got here. Speaking of, let's take a look. It shoots singles, but I'm going to show you doubles. This is the double that I shot. It is definitely a one-of-a-kind pattern. I mean, as you see, it is very tall. It's a very tall profile. At the same time, it is a very thin profile. So tall and thin is what gives this bait a lot of action. Definitely one of a kind because it was designed by Marling. Marling Baits and Epic Bait Molds collabed on this. 5.6 inches overall. It does have room for a 1/4 inch eye. I always put the 3D eyes on there. A lot of people, you know, eyes don't make a difference to fish. Well, I've actually tried that, and I put eyes on mine. I'll just say that I've caught way more fish with baits that have eyes on them than they don't. It's almost like it's a hit point or a hit marker or something for them to go for when they bite at these things. Also unique to the bait is dual hook slots. So you have your first hook slot there, and your second hook slot is actually right here on top. Let me show you why that is. Let me grab one that I have hooked up. Now this one, it's been beat up. In fact, my last run out, I had a musky swipe at the tail. You can kind of see there's a little bit of a rip there. Chumped it there, and yeah, you ain't got a little piece of it there. It was just a quick swipe, but it was enough to mess it up pretty good. But your first hook slot, this uses an 8/0 beast hook. So you screw the screw right into the nose there, bring it around and hook it. I actually have a video on my my Facebook page that shows how to rig this. So first slot goes, you know, right there. Second slot allows the hook to sit. Well, if this one weren't so beat up, sorry about that. The hook sits right in there, flush. I have no trouble going through grass and weeds and things of that nature with this at all. In fact, it is superior when it comes to that. I don't want to say it's weedless, like not completely weedless, but my gosh, it does a great job. Oddly enough, I don't think they make a hook slot delete to this, but that's off to the side. 3 fins on it make it kind of unique. You got the one there, and then of course you got the little trash tail as they do on all the Preybaits. The bottom, probably can't see it here, maybe you can. It's got cross hatch marks on the top and the slashes on the bottom. And then of course, if you're into painting or doing any dry painting, powder coat painting, you do have the details of the fin right there also. So, you know what? I forgot. Let's go back to cost. The cost of this thing, $140. I'm going to score it as a 7. I mean, there's a lot of other options out there. I understand there's machine time and such involved, but it's spendy. You're paying for it, so I'm going to give it a 7. The design, going back to this, you know what? It's going to be. Let me note one other thing. Oh, yes, 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 and yes. You see that? This is what I like. That option. Hold it together with wing nuts. Yes, thank you. Give us the option if we want to take and remove that or not. But I always use them. It just holds it in place so much better, and I don't have to worry about clamping it. I don't have to worry about my clamps are too loose or my clamps are too tight. It's good every time. So design overall, I'm giving this a 10. This is outstanding. This is one of the. I think this was the first Preybait they put out, and there's a reason they did so many sizes to it, is because it's a killer design. As far as versatility, it does singles, of course. It does doubles, which, if you're very careful, yep, it does doubles. You got to go really slow. And yes, it does triples. It does. Triples are tricky, but it can be done. There are no options for a tail slot, or I mean, not a tail slot, I'm so sorry. There are no options for a separate tail mold to make a different colored tail or anything like that. And kind of like I mentioned earlier, I don't think there is a hook slot delete option where you can actually get rid of that hook slot if you're wanting a beefier, meatier bait for something. So, versatility, not bad, but I'm going to give it a 7. There's some other things you could do, and it's not my company. I don't run them, so I'm going to give it a 7 just because it's single, double, triple shot, kind of like a lot of other baits out there. As far as the use, this is a non-symmetrical, so the doubles are tricky, and the triples, if you want to get a triple to look like this is one of the best triples I've ever gotten out of it. It is a challenge. Triples are not the move with this bait, so it's very tricky. It's asymmetrical. It's going to do that. You can see even here, it's not perfect. It's not. But it still looks really great. I really can't complain about the look of that bait. But to get it consistently to look like that, you're gonna need a lot of practice. Nice thing about this is one of the few baits that I have never had dent on me. Especially as much plastic as this takes, I've never had a dent. Never. And that to me is absolutely unbelievably great. The only thing is you've got to keep that sprue filled. I mean, you've got to keep that thing topped off, because she will drink. As soon as you're done shooting, it will drink. And if you don't keep that filled up, I can only imagine that it probably would dent, or in some cases I've actually gotten a head that's been kind of hollowed out. So you have to be kind of careful with that. There are occasions, very seldom, where the tail will not fill out, and you will get kind of a weird little, I don't even know how to describe it, kind of dimples or cutouts on the very bottom of the tail. That can happen. I'm not sure of why it happens. I'm just thinking the plastic doesn't get down there fast enough and it starts to cool before it happens. I really don't know. I've tested it, tried figuring it out, tried troubleshooting. It doesn't happen very often, but it can. So just know that. Speaking of which, I shoot this bait around 330 degrees for a single. I do about 320 for the doubles, just to make sure that the laminates, go through properly. I have to shoot higher on the triples. I have to do about 340 degrees because by the time it gets all the way through your injector and your plate, that stuff starts to slow up a little bit, which is good. You want to shoot it slow, and you do not want to hold any pressure. If you hold pressure down, any pressure at all, it will start swirling and blending these colors. So shoot slow, no pressure. It kind of sounds kind of like me describing the 1.7 review again, but something about these epic baits and this design: slow shoot. I can't stress it enough. Shoot slow. So overall on the use on this is how far it is as far as easy use. Blah, 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 stutter on my words. I don't edit my stuff. You guys get to enjoy me being an idiot. An 8. I would give this an 8 as far as the use. It's a beginner could use it, but if you want to get up to this level, you are going to need some practice. As far as the appeal, I'll be honest, I don't see a lot of secondhand market for this bait. I don't see a lot of people trying to sell them. I don't see a lot of people asking for them. But on the Epic site, you can actually categorize all their stuff based on the best seller. And as far as their swim baits, this is their second best seller as far as swim baits. So there's an appeal for it. I just don't see a lot on the secondary market. So I'm still going to give this thing an 8. Even though I don't see a lot of secondary market, you know, Epic Bait Molds on their site says that it's still second highest. So I'm going to kind of average those out and say that's an 8. So overall on this mold, I would give it, you know, that's 40 points divided by 5. That's an 8. So I'll give this bait an 8.0. 8.0. Do you want to run out and get it? If you are a hobbyist, this is perfect. I mean, if you just want to shoot a couple of them and go fish with them, that's great. But, you know, you're going to have largemouth on the mind for something like this, or pike or muskie. I mean, it is a big bait at 5.6. So, also, if you're a small business such as myself, it's going to take a while. If you sell them in packages, it's going to take you a while to crank some of them out being a single. But if you're willing to do that, willing to dedicate some time to it, then yeah, it's a mold you should get. If you're after pike, muskie, and large bass, you know, I don't fish saltwater or offshore because I'm here in the Midwest, but I could also see this have a large appeal for saltwater. I made some up with a mackerel design, and they sold out like the minute I put them on the site. So if I weren't such an idiot, I should probably do a bunch of those up again. Involved a lot of airbrushing, but yeah, grab this one at 8 points overall. It's definitely worth your time and your money. I do thank you for watching. You don't have to like, you don't have to subscribe. I'm not your dad. I can't tell you what to do. But thanks for watching, and I'll keep doing these reviews. Again, I am not affiliated with anybody. I do not get discounts. I don't work for anyone. These are just honest, no BS reviews. Again, thanks for watching.